Now I'm gonna share my screen with you. Eh, can you see my screen? I just want to make sure that everything is visible for you so we can start the class. And today, that's good. Thank you. And today, this class is to get into the writing section when it comes to text, exam tests for certificate or English levels, um, all the requirements. In this case, today we will be dipping into the writing section. So to start, I would like to see, first of all, tell you the lessons objectives. And today, the plan is to identify the key characteristics and formal requirements of a different writing levels. In this case, B2. Uh, and we'll be applying all these to improve our writing when it comes to English exams or tests. So, as a warm up activity today, I would like to see which of these cards that I'm sharing with you, you will pick it up, and I would like to see, like you write on the text box chat, which one do you pick, and tell me about either what are your, for example, your favorite things to do over the weekend, or describe your family, or what is the best vacation, sorry, you have ever taken, what is your favorite part of the school day and why, in this case, maybe university, what fictional character would you like to be and why, and what is the best days of the week for you, and also why is this day. So I would like to see, you can either, it's better that you write it since this is the main focus, so you can write it on the chat and I'll be happy to see. So for this activity, let's have like 2 minutes. Um, so I will see the chat box. I can have the screen like this so you can see. In the meanwhile, I'll be preparing these records. My favorite day is Sunday. I love Sunday because it's a day that I don't have commitments. I can wake up late. I can do the breakfast and lunch late, and I can watch TV. Oh, that's a really good answer. Thank you for answering and letting me know what is your favorite day of the week. Now let's move on to the next explanation that I have prepared for you today, and is the perfect academic essay burger is an example with a burger to help us to get a little bit more clear on in order to improve our writing, the way we must do it. Like it has a few steps, like we do it in Spanish, it's also in English, to have to make it easier for the learners to understand us writing. And so this is like a little guide for a start. Even though at this level we must know how to write, but sometimes it's easy to get confused or start saying the same thing over and over. So for be clear and easy, I have prepared this for you today that I would like to explain before we move on with more activities. So in the first of all, we have 7 important elements for academic writing. We know that is different classifications, can I call it, for when it comes to writing. In this case, we are focusing on academic. So for this, at the first, we have the introduction that engage our reader. We gave a little bit of the background of the topic, that what we want to say or what we're talking about, context and importance, and the main argument. In the body of the paragraph 1, we have to clear the main idea, starting to deep a little bit more into details, examples, data, like depending, of course, of the what we're talking about. But this is important to keep in mind because sometimes we can skip this important part. So there is like an order in order to be clear. In the body paragraph 3, we have the topic as a sentence and additional point supporting the details that we talked already on the paragraph 1. Examples and link to overall point, everything that we want to say or what we're talking about again. The counter argument, we have some linking words or linking words that will help us to express and use more vocabulary, expand the information that we are giving to our reader. And finally, we have the conclusion. In order to make it a little bit clear, of course, this is more depending on what we're talking about. It has some levels, but so far, and for this category B2, this will help us to understand and get it a little bit more clear. Just like a guide for a start, like I mentioned before. So moving on to the next activity. In this case, I have for you this diagram that you can see has some information, are telling us something. So I would like to, if you can, please read the first questions in order to, continue and explaining to you. So you can turn on your mic and just read the first, what it says, analyze the graph. Please, could you do that?
In this task, you will present with a graph, table, chart, or diagram and ask to describe, summarize, or explain the given information.
Yes, thank you so much. So we can see here that we have 4 countries. We have Great Britain, USA, Germany, and France. And there is some information of the uses of transport, right? So this is the preference among young people from different countries. The countries we can see on the NIF of the graph, that is the information. So we have there already some data, like information. And from this graph, I would like you to help me to read these five steps, not steps, but information from the graph. So could you do that, please?
Sorry, what? I don't hear.
If you can read the five information that we have from the graph, like the
Okay,
trends.
we can note some trends. Car was the most popular type of transport in all countries except for Germany. In Great Britain and USA, there are big differences between percentage of people who choose some kind of transport. In Germany, percentage of people who choose car and bicycle are roughly the same. In France, percentage of people who choose motorcycle and bicycle are nearly equal. Motorcycle was the less popular type of transport in all countries except for USA. Overall, car is the most chosen transport, bicycle is on the second place, and motorcycle is the less chosen transport.
Exactly. So with all this information and the chart that we have next to the text, we can already, I think you will need the picture in case you forget about some percentage, but I can have it. But the idea is in this exercise to write an answer with the following structure. So after, like I mentioned before, and I show you with the burger example, we have the first oral, the introduction. So I would like you to introduce the graph, ideally in maybe one or two. If you need more, it's okay. You can do it. Sentences. And then we have the body of the text we're going to write. And we have the general overview. And this paragraph, you should describe the main trends. Like I say, always we start giving a little bit of a bite of the main idea. Then we have some specific features that we have to group the given data by some feature, then describe if each feature, like I mentioned before. And using paragraphing, usually there should be like one or three. It's okay if you need more a paragraph in the body part. So I will do you need the this one to keep it at? I can keep the screen on this section so you can see the information if you understood the what we have to do in this exercise. It was clear for you, or you need some explanations? Daniela, are you here? I can have it here in case you need it, the information on the chart, and you can start writing on the text box, the chat in the meeting. Uh, or in case you need this one, I can have it there too. That like it's up to you. You can let me just know by turning on your mic and saying which one do you prefer. And for this exercise, you can have a 5-6 minutes. It's okay if you need more, but it's to try to train our timing when it comes to writing, because some tests might have a timer on. So for now, for this one, we can have 6 minutes. It's okay if you need more. I can also share this picture with you through the chat and have the main explanation. Okay, it's okay. I didn't see the message, but it's okay. And I'm sending it to you right now. You can take your time. It's okay. Don't worry. Um, and I will have the explanation of the activity here. So it's okay. Take your time. Just by sending a thumbs up, let me know when you're finished so I can check the chat. you're finished or you're still on the writing process? If you need anything, just let me know. You can either turn on your mic or writing on the chat. Since I have more activities for you and they take a while because it's writing, I'm gonna move on because time is running and I know that you're might busy. So in order to continue and don't get stuck just here, uh, I would like to now introduce you some of other tips when it comes to writing that these are calling linking are called linking words, and they are really useful because they will help us to be more clear or connect words or sentence. So I have these three charts for you with some vocabulary, some words that we must use or keep in mind so when it comes to writing, we can be more clear in order to express more easy our ideas. So first of all, I have the consequence, and this in this case, I have some linking words. I would like to check again if you have sent the answer. Okay, it's okay, don't worry. Uh, in order to continue explaining, I have this chart that has some really useful information. Those are called the linking words, like I mentioned before. And in consequence, we have as a result, thus, so, therefore, as a consequence, eventually, that's why, how. And the next one is contrast. So that will help us to even be more clear and more the our reader will be more easy for the reader to understand what are you actually trying to say or communicate on paper, of course, because it's writing. In contrast, we have however, but, yet, whereas, while, on the one hand, sorry, on the other hand, and adding ideas. We have moreover, also, besides, in addition, what's more, not only, but also. And when it comes to opinions, if you want to introduce or in the text mention something that is our opinion, so we use some of these ones. In my opinion, as far as I am concerned, to my mind, it seems to me that. This one will help us to be more clear when we want to express our own opinions. And the next one is concession. And in this case, I have for you, give me a sec. Um, okay. And in this one, I have concession that this will help us to be more clear. Like I mentioned before, these are really useful when it comes to writing. So we have even though, but for, despite from, apart from, although, and though. And when it comes to purpose, we have the, to, so that, so as to, in order to. And in explaining, we have, let me move this box a little bit over here. So, and in explaining, we have as, since, in so far as, because, the reason why. Condition, we have as long as, unless these, for example, if, provide that, whether, and in choice, we have or, whatever, whoever, neither, nor, either, or. So the idea with this chart and with these boxes, with this information, was to create our writing expressing. The topic is free. You can use whatever you want to express, but using these linking words. But since I know that is nobody attending the class today for some reason, I will move on to continue explaining because even though if there is nobody here, I need to finish the class and show the material. So move on to the next one. And this, I create this exercise for you in order to practice what we've learned just now. So I will open the link and show you what was the idea that I have with this exercise. So I will open this resource, and it was this activity was called connectors for academic writing. Like I mentioned before, linking words are also connectors. So we have in Spanish, we have in English, and I just explained them to you. The idea was to try to fill these words into the text in order to have a comprehensive and cohesion text. So since there's nobody here, let me just check again. Yeah, it's just me. I will move on to continue explaining this activity. Sorry, the presentation. List. Okay, so I have this activity that I just showed to you. And now I want to move forward to this other chart. That is, the idea is to take a look at the chart below and perform the task as outlined. So and this chart is about recycling. So we have a recycle rate for selected materials between 1982 to 2010. And we have some information also from the start to the finish. And we have a paper and cardboard, glass containers, aluminum cans, and plastics. And this graph shows the proportion of 4 different materials that we were recycling from 1982 to 2010, like I mentioned before, in a particular country. So the idea was to summarize this information also in a test and also make comparisons in the test. For that reason, we go back to the linking words that will help us to, depending on what we want to say, what we want to express on our writing, using these words. So this was the idea of the activity. And also write about the following topic. In this chart, the purple one, I have this test that says learning English at school is often seen as more important than, and let me move this box a little bit there, than learning local languages. If these are not taught, many are at risk of dying out. In your opinion, it is important for everyone to learn English. Should we try to ensure the survival of local languages? And if so, how? So the idea in this part was actually that you should give me on the chat again reasons for your answer, and including any relevant examples. It's free to use in examples if you have from your own experience or knowledge to support your response. So this was the idea of the activity. And that was all. Since nobody couldn't attend today, it was a little bit more shorter because I have to explain more faster everything. But okay, this was the main idea for this class today, to try to improve our writing when it comes to exams or test preparation. So thank you for attending and see you next time.